Yeah, I mean, sound could use some work on that. But I don't think their damage needs work. 1,700. 1,700 damage from across the map in one shot. Oh, that's actually filthy.
No.
That is actually disgusting. Ogre time! Ha 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 ha. Yeah, buddy. The ogres are chomping at the bit for a taste of that Slaanesh goodness, and Ironblasters are crazy strong. Gonna be a good show today. Back on domination mode against the meme lord Ogre, as the two best anti-large creatures in service of the Dark Prince try to survive the artillery deluge about to be sent their way. In the top right, you can see my full army and reinforcements, focused on speed, maneuverability, and lots of chaff for capping points during a late game push. My lord is an exalted keeper of secrets, accompanied by a soul grinder of Slaanesh, and she, he, it, they, whatever, is a very interesting and very expensive character. Seductive Glory rampages nearby enemies and lowers their defense. Ballet of Blows is a scaling combat steroid that gives them freakish melee buffs, and my three spells are Acquiescence, Hysterical Frenzy, and Phantasmagoria, which pairs super well with Feasting on Fear, which grants burst healing as more and more enemies begin to waver and rout under her influence. It's also got 25 bonus versus large, so you'll see in a lot of matchups where that's an important trait to have, like against Khorne or the Ogres. But she's a big target, and as we'll see soon enough, that can present its own fair share of issues when dealing with enemy artillery. In the Vanguard, ride the Hellstriders of Slaanesh, just an amazing unit in multiplayer, and rightfully, I think, shaping up to be one of the best light cav units in this trilogy. Their Soul Hunter's passive increases intensity with each kill, up to a 22% ward save, plus 16 leadership, and plus 10 charge bonus. Very strong, cost-efficient backline predators with poison and bonus versus large. They'll die again to a sniff fart, but that's true for most of this roster, so nothing surprising there, and at their price, they're very good. Across Snowy Peaks comes Scrag the Slaughter and the Blood Guzzler tribe, with an army of Gorgers, Hunters, Bulls, and Ironblasters, which are maybe the deadliest unit in their arsenal currently. Now the big thing to note here is that Ogre is giving them gold chevrons before the match starts, which improves their fire rate and accuracy, I believe. So we're looking at Armor Sundering, 1.7k missile damage per volley, which as you saw in the intro, isn't some theoretical output. It is quite literally what happens with a single shot to a Keeper of Secrets if all of those projectiles hit. And they're very accurate, so they often do all hit. Right now, they're more like Luminarchs that can fight in melee and have 90 armor. So I have to be extremely careful or they will outright delete my Greater Demon from the game in seconds. And they'll be supported by the legendary prophet of the Great Maw, Scrag the Slaughter, tugging his boiling kettle of blood, bone, and gristle around, and his spells are Bullgorger, Bone Crusher, and Troll Guts. But his Cauldron is the unique piece of his kit, granting any Gorgers in his army regen and weapon damage buffs as he racks up kills and stuffs the pieces of his enemies into that pot. That is map-wide, so if you're planning on using Gorgers, he is the go-to pick. Now, Gorgers are an interesting unit, seem to be quite well fed under his command, but they're stalking, Vanguard deploying unbreakable monstrous infantry with bonus versus foot troops and a lot of speed. So, at the start of the match, I'm keeping everything out wide and in the trees. The best way to mitigate the accuracy and damage output of Ironblasters is by getting above them or not even showing your face and hiding in cover. They're great at killing cav and infantry, but it's a bit ridiculous just how good they are at sniping monsters, so I have to be really careful when they have line of sight. I've already played a few games against them where Greater Demons die in like 4 or 5 shots. It's kind of terrifying. Absolutely elite dodging from your boy already. Ballet of Blows is activated, and Acquiescence popped on the Gorgers to get them nice and buttered up for the coming slaughter. They have 4 melee defense against units that have 80 melee attack against large. Will not go well for them. And then you add Soporific Musk on top of that, they might as well just go to sleep. It's over for them. But they are unbreakable, and I don't want to get bogged down while the Rhinox artillery fires in. So I really need to finish this up real quick, and hopefully with the rear charge from my Hellstriders that got beat up in a frontal charge against the Ogres, which probably wasn't my best idea ever, but should allow me to finish up this wing and hopefully push on to more important objectives. So things shall get loud now. Soul Grinder unleashing its subsonic dubstep, Scream to be heard, and the Keeper of Secrets strutting down the runway and striking poses like it owns the place, because it does. Beastly engagement here, wiped out the entire wing very quickly, and this is what I love about Slaanesh. You strike hard, you strike fast, you take the right engagement, and you will be rewarded for it heavily. Most of the ogres on that side are dead. Lost most of my light cav unit there, should have used that more intelligently, but wanted to see how they perform in a frontal charge with their bonus for large, and the answer was, not so great. So I would love to push on and kill the Rhinox artillery and get into the Iron Blasters right now. The issue is that the rest of the reinforcements are beginning to funnel out of those 3 portals. And I'm not going to have enough of a critical mass here to break into the center, shut them down, and not get rear charge. So at this point, it's time to retreat. We did some damage, but I don't want to overcommit and lose my starting units here. And I can't really afford to expose my single entities to those artillery shots. So I'm going to back all the way up, move my cav back out to the wings, and hide for a little bit here and let stuff get capped. My Hellstriders are a bit sadomasochistic. Hard to know if their punishment here is of their own desire, but even with 100 speed, skirting out of range of Iron Blasters is not a simple task. And as they retreat, Shrapnel Shot will cut down many of their number as we prepare for the second stage of this battle. I am not worried at all about capping points at the moment. In fact, it's likely a detriment to this kind of build. Ideally, I want those extra supplies from being down in VP, so we'll bide our time, build up our forces, and wait for an opening, which is the cool thing about this map. All this cav can move into the tree line, use that as cover, and use that as the staging ground for an ambush in my second assault. They won't be able to see me once my cav are in the tree line, so that will be the game plan. Ambush from the trees and get in a good position that way. But more ogre reinforcements are cycling in now. They've fully taken command of 2 of the points, although the extra supplies have not started rolling in yet for me, and a hunter is in the vanguard with a 120 range bonus for large armor-piercing javelin that he can use to skewer just about anything. I think it was Magneto who said, in chess, pawns go first. So the Marauders will take all of the focus fire moving up the center, and they'll be fodder, they'll be destroyed on the way in. Shrapnel Shot just absolutely insta-jibbing the center of their formation, but that will open up the opportunity for me to close in from the flanks with all of my cavalry, and I've spent the last couple of minutes amassing that cav to get in a position where I can now fully surround the Ogre army and hopefully get at that Rhinox artillery and shut down the Iron Blasters. Here we go. The Boob Snake Stampede is on. Soul Grinder and Exalted Keeper moving in from the front. Seeker Demonette Cav charging in from behind. Hellscourge Whips cracking and slapping from the flanks. Sticks and stones may break Noblar bones, but chains and whips excite me. Well defended from Okoy. Got a nice little box set up there, denying the devastating flanker trait for the moment. But Noblars aren't exactly well known for their ability to hold the line, and there is a lot of cav with good stats screaming in from every single direction. Now the light cav with bonus for large, the Hellstriders, will not do much to the 90 armor of Iron Blasters, but the Seekers of Slaanesh and their elite counterpart, the Heart Seekers, might be able to. They're amazing in terms of their AP values. And holy shit, look at how much damage that Keeper Secrets just took from 2 Iron Blaster volleys. So pretty much immediately I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I have to get into melee, Only thing I can do, that one kind of missed, but this one will not, and I mean, she's one more shot from death. Phantasmagoria for a -16 leadership debuff, pinning everything in place so they cannot run away, light cav closing in from every single direction, and the only thing I can hope for now is that Feasting on Fear will kick in and give me a huge burst to my HP pool while I turn her into an absolute blender lord. 141 melee attack, 728 weapon strength. That is from Hysterical Frenzy, which causes her to rampage for 40 seconds, and also from Ballet of Blows. The Mailed Fist of Bone Crusher coming down, but definitely dodged out of the way. My Exalted Keeper is not getting a ton of healing right now, which surprised me because I just caused a ton of routing. I'm not quite sure exactly how the heal works or when it decides to kick in, because I haven't been able to make it happen consistently, but I have seen some crazy burst healing from it. But these lead belchers are badasses, and they just spawned, and they are tearing up my cav. And more ogre reinforcements are teleporting in, and we're getting perilously close to their spawn point, where it becomes a lot easier for him to reinforce and even more difficult for me to get units into the back line. But I've got a bit of a critical mass of cav right now, and that was an amazing Gnoblar trap, by the way, hitting all of my light cav, slowing them down like crazy. But I'm fully committed now. I'm going into his spawn, trying to kill off the lead belchers, trying to shut down all of his range play, except for, you know, things that have been killing me this game, which are the Iron Blasters. Still have not been able to kill them off. Not yet, anyway. Keeper Secrets going in and, again, popping everything I possibly can to try to win that duel against Scraggan. She is bonus for Slaanesh, and she has way better dueling stats. So, in this situation, even though she is super low, might be able to cause some serious carnage, and in fact, just forced a rampage on Scrag too, but sniped out. Big shot from the Iron Blaster, and the Keeper is gone. Just evaporated. Disintegrated, deleted from the game for good. But the Soul Grinder and my Heart Seekers have made their play, routing off the first of the Rhinox Iron Blasters. The other one took a ton of damage and had routed to the edge of the map, but came back and still blasted me apart. So, Heart Seekers, 100 speed, they're going to close that gap. And they've got the AP values to chunk through. But I've sacrificed a lot. Thankfully, getting some losing compensation now, 4 extra supply, so that's a 25% increase over the base of 16. Soul Grinder disappearing back into the warp. Heartseekers closing the gap, and on top of the Iron Blasters, and watch how fast this thing gets deleted from the game. 1900 HP, now down to 900, 500, gone. Exploded. Dunzo. Yeah, Heartseekers are no joke. What was that, like 3, 4, maybe 5 seconds to kill 2000 HP? Almost instantaneously, and the thing just explodes. And the Demonettes are rewarded with a little bit of a fireworks display as they make good on their escape. God, I love this unit. Probably my favorite unit in the entire roster. They are gorgeous, they are sexy, they are hot, they're sensual. I love them. Luscious unit. And right now, they're the only thing that is standing between me and utter defeat, because we're down about 2,000 points, but we're getting crazy supply because of it. Look at that supply at the top, going up like crazy. And now, we're making the big play. The infantry swarm is upon them. A big dismember from the ogres, slowing down the infantry advance, but I'm gonna just spam fodder at the points here and try to get some captures, because we've had +5, +6 losing compensation for a while now. That's a lot of extra supply for a lot of good units. Those Gorgers were stalking, so I did not see them. Got a couple kills on my Heartseekers, but they will retreat in time. And Gnoblars will not be able to hold back this many Marauders. Some of them have their sword, so they have bonus versus infantry. That's an easy engagement for them. And hopefully, with the rear charge from the Hellstriders that are supporting, that should be a quick fight. And either way, we'll be able to cap over those Gnoblars anyway. There are some Ogre Bulls with dual weapons coming in close, but have them completely outflanked. Still an Iron Blaster alive, firing across the battlefield and exploding a lot of my infantry. Thing has been a monster all game long and still has about a third of its ammunition left. The VPs are about 4,000 for Okoi and 1,800 for me, so a lot of ground to make up. Marauders of Slaanesh with their spears plunging into the Ogre Bulls, and it's a great fight for them. Heartseekers screaming down the mountainside. They're Ferraris, 100 speed, going straight for the Iron Blaster, I would assume, and I really want that to be just destroyed at this point. Tired of it shooting me, tired of it killing my army. They've got Gnoblars to deal with, but just leave them in at this point. Let them fight, let them get this round off, and try to finish off what has been the most high-value unit on the field for the Ogre Kingdoms, but he sent a Troll Guts its way, so it might be able to survive that assault. Big surround off on the Ogre Bulls from the bonus versus large Hellstriders. More Ogre Bulls cycling in, and a nice Gnoblar trap to slow everything down. And more of my cav coming in. Supplies are still in a great spot for me in terms of getting tons of units on the field, because I've been losing for so long. Losing compensation is giving me some nice reinforcements to cycle in, and my units are so fast, they can make it from my spawn point to the important capture points quite quickly. Much faster than the ogres can. Heartseekers are racking up kills like crazy, but ultimately not really a great fight for them. And looking back on it, probably should not have done that. That's 1,400 gold that kind of went down the drain. I wanted to kill that Rhinox, the Rhinox artillery so bad, just not able to do it. Beautiful Bone Crusher from Scrag the Slaughter, who's been carving up my infantry in the center. Second Heartseekers made their way in, and this time might be able to finish off the Iron Blaster, but I mean, who the hell knows? I've been trying for so long, and it keeps on surviving. They're so tanky, and they do so much damage. It's an amazing unit, but the infantry is swarming in, and normally you might want something like a Stonehorn to tear out all the infantry off the points, but it doesn't work against Slaanesh because everything is immune to psychology. They've completely surrounded Scrag the Slaughterer, but he's styling. He is a nasty looking dude. He looks like something straight out of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, he has scars all over, some saggy man tits. That's how we do it. And the blood and gore pack has arrived early on Warhammer 3. Somehow it's okay for the cauldron to be filled with blood and spew that all over the battlefield. Whatever. He's awesome. He's beasting on my Hellscourge infantry. But he is slowly being dragged down, and more of this elite light cavalry cycling into the fray, getting into the back line, shutting down the lead belchers, and preventing reinforcements from getting onto the point. And that is what I'm doing now. Forget everything else. Just stuff up their advance so they cannot capture points. It's a triple cap now. It is a full triple cap, but I'm still getting losing compensation because I'm still down by 1,000 VPs. Or I was down by 1,000 VPs. That gap is rapidly closing, just like Slaaneshi Cav. Lead Belchers cannot fire when they've got Seekers all over their booties. And the Iron Blaster is finally dead. Holy crap, that was an epic saga to try to get that finished off. It took all game to do it. Okoi did a great job defending it. But it's routing, and the Ogres are quickly running out of steam. Almost their entire army is mass routing at this point. Hunter is running away up the cliff, being hounded by a bunch of light cav. Scrag the Slaughter is dead, or very soon to be dead. Iron Blaster just blew up. Nobblers can't get onto the point because they're being stuffed up in their spawn. And this is over as a contest. Even with Gorgers coming in, Ogres do not have enough. Not in terms of supply, and not in terms of time to crawl their way back into the game. And it was a fun one, man. Like, the comeback mechanic was on full display there. And the Slaaneshi Slingshot also on full display. So basically let the Ogres go up on VPs, get that extra losing compensation, get the extra supply from that, take map control once that's been established with your Marauders, push forward in the late game, rapidly swarm over all 3 points, get the triple cap, and hopefully cruise to a win from there. Iron Blasters with 2,200 and 2,100 damage value respectively, and this was one of the weaker games I've seen from them, if that gives you an idea of how strong they can be. I think I showed enough examples in this battle and at the beginning of the video of what they can do to high-value single entities. Terrifying. The gold chevron idea is brilliant. I don't know if it's entirely intentional that a shrapnel shot artillery is meant to be that accurate from that far away, but they're brutal against big monsters. And they can also kill cav and infantry too. So overall, just an amazing unit. And they melted my keeper. Now, I had some really nice performing units as well. The Heartseekers were awesome. The Seekers were awesome. The Hellstriders were awesome. And the Infantry Swarm, I think, matches up really well against Nobblers. Most things match up well against Nobblers. But my ability to push into all 3 points simultaneously near the end of that battle gave me full map control. And it really starts with the Slaaneshi Cav, which can dive into the rear and prevent them from getting out of their spawn. Not in a grind per se, but just to stuff them up and halt their advance, strike them from the flank, cause some carnage, then retreat. I mean, they're just so much maneuverability. I think Slaanesh is amazing in this game mode. They're really, really good. Would have loved to have gotten a little bit more value out of my Exalted Keeper, Still did well, though. Still took some great engagements with it, but great sniping from Okoye. Great defense of his artillery. And I think he's onto something with that double Iron Blaster start. I really think he is. The gold chevrons on them are just brilliant play, and you get so much value out of them. Hope you guys enjoy it.